From the CBS Bay Area studios, this is KPIX 5 News.
We have more drama over the BART extension to San Jose and more delays. Phase 1 of the Silicon Valley extension from Warm Springs and Fremont to San Jose's Berryessa area is fully built, but passenger service will not be starting anytime soon. The Valley Transportation Authority, which is overseeing the project, says the project is being delayed 6 months or more due to safety tests. Passenger service is now scheduled to begin early next year instead of this summer.
Rather disgusted about it. It's going to happen, you know. The delay is the delay, you know. What can the public do?
I understand some of the technical delays that are going on. I'm not happy with it, but I do want to make sure that BART is safe to ride.
But even after the VTA gives the green light for the new tracks, BART still has to do its own testing before service can begin.
And some good news for low-income drivers and Muni passengers in San Francisco. The city is now offering a payment plan for citations and removal of late fees. According to the SF Examiner, people who qualify include a single-person household making under $24,120 per year and a two-person household making under $32,480 a year. Those eligible have until the end of May to enroll.
We have some sad news from the entertainment world this morning. Actor David Ogden Stiers has died. He was best known for his role in the final few seasons of MASH. Stiers played the pompous surgeon, Major Charles Emerson Winchester III. His agent said that he'd been battling bladder cancer. Stiers was 75.
All this rain is drawing attention to a nasty Bay Area problem. Garbage washed off of roads and fields into the bay. And some environmentalists are blaming Caltrans for failing to comply with the Clean Water Act and not doing enough to clean up trash. Caltrans blames the public. The agency says last year it spent $67 million picking up debris, and it still piles up.
Well, it's a rough beginning it's been a rough March. How about this? Take a look at these photos. These are folks on the East Coast beginning to dig out after a storm hit the region. It tries to recover from a nor'easter that has utility workers trying to restore power to 1.5 million homes and businesses after the storm caused flooding and damage from Virginia to Maine. At least 9 confirmed deaths are linked to the weather, mostly from trees falling or branches falling. Meanwhile, forecasters are watching another potential weather system that could pelt the region later this week.
And a big election is underway right now in Italy. Italians are voting for a new parliament with 24 parties on the ballot, many running in coalitions. Now, analysts predict that the likeliest outcome is a hung parliament, and there are reports of some ballot glitches and confusion among voters. Perhaps the most peculiar incident happened at a polling place in Milan, as ex-premier Silvio Berlusconi was casting his own ballot. A topless woman jumped onto the table with the message, "Berlusconi, you've expired," written on her torso in black marker.
Politics. We don't get that here. He's calling for new taxes on some imports, including a 25% tax on steel and a 10% tax on aluminum. Yesterday, he proposed steep tariffs as well on European automotive companies. Now, those plans are sparking concerns of a trade showdown with China and other U.S. trading partners. Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has already called the proposals absolutely unacceptable.
We are impressing upon the American administration the unacceptable nature of these proposals that are going to hurt them every bit as much as they will hurt us.
According to the Washington Post, Trump advisor Peter Navarro believes German automakers have stolen market share in the U.S. by importing cars while limiting the number of U.S. cars that can be sold in Germany. President Trump can impose the tariffs using an executive action, and he says details are still being written, but he plans to sign off on those changes soon. On the issue of open government, San Francisco interim mayor Mark Farrell is actually opening his office to the public. His so-called open door chats started Friday, and they're going to be happening twice a month for a 3-hour period. This is something that former Mayor Willie Brown started years ago, but it stopped. But the new mayor is going to meet with anyone who enters a lottery system, and they're going to get 10-minute slots. San Francisco residents can enter on his website, sign up for it. One person we spoke with came to him about a homeless situation in the city.
I don't think the mayor can do it by himself. In fact, I know he can't do it by himself, and he's here short term. He'll be leaving in June. And we need to rally round. We need to all come up with a solution and work together.
Farrell is serving as interim mayor, and he'll only be in office until a special election in June 5th to decide who replaces Ed Lee, who died unexpectedly in December. By the way, the Open Door Chaps will be the first and third Friday of the month.
And work is now underway for a new transit village in Oakland. The city held a groundbreaking ceremony on Friday in the Fruitvale district at East 12th Street and 36th Avenue. And here are some of the renderings of what it'll look like when it's done. It's going to feature 94 affordable housing units that will sit on the city-owned BART parking lot. Mayor Libby Schaaf says she's watched this project from the ground up.
That I have watched this rise, not from the ground, but from the love, the commitment, and sheer will of one of the most beautiful, unified communities in the world.
21% of the units will be reserved for homeless veterans in Oakland, and it's set to be open by the end of next year.
Well, for years, transit officials have been trying to get Californians out of their cars. Well, it appears that Californians are getting out of their cars and getting into trucks. The annual review by the Car Dealers Association found car sales were down 10%, and SUV and light trucks, however, are up 7%. Now, you can credit the economy because hiring is up and gas prices are down.
Miles per gallon have definitely gotten better, therefore making them more attractive because the utility factor that you can use, a lot more space, you can take them in different places, and you're getting the gas mileage that's similar to cars. Plus, the price point has come down.
Now, hybrid sales are still growing, up more than 10% over last year and nearly 70% since 2012.
It's Hollywood's biggest night, and outside the Dolby Theater in Los Angeles, Oscars Gold is taking over.
J'avoue, je n'ai bavé pas vous.
This year, The Shape of Water leads the pack with the most nominations, 13 in all. The war drama Dunkirk is next in line with 8 nominations, and Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri follows with 7 nods.
We've had 2 official complaints about those billboards.
From who?
This year, there are some surprises, including a few films that critics say wouldn't normally be considered Oscar contenders.
I think the Academy mindset is changing.
Variety magazine's Tim Gray says it's no longer only dramas dominating the major categories.
Get out! Yo!
He believes nominations for movies like Get Out could signal a shift in what's considered an Oscar-worthy film.
Get Out is kind of a horror, comedy, suspense film.
Charles, the world is not the same as it was.
Logan gets nominated for Best Screenplay, and that's a superhero movie.
In the main acting categories, Gray has these predictions.
Frances McDormand for Best Actress for Three Billboards, Gary Oldman for Darkest Hour. They seem to be clear favorites.
As for who will ultimately take home Hollywood Gold, only Oscar knows. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Good morning, everybody. Wherever you are watching, thanks for joining us. I got some quick moving pictures for you to get. Last night, this was the game. St. Mary's against Pepperdine. Pepperdine came into the West Coast Conference Tournament with 6 wins all year. St. Mary's once down 19-4, had to come all the way back. That's Calvin Hermanson knocking down to 3. St. Mary's ranked 22nd. We're supposed to wipe the floor with these guys, but Pepperdine gave them all they could handle. You see that shot fall shy. St. Mary's hung on to win their first round game, 69-66. Curtain of distraction, that's Arizona State against Stanford. Dejon Davis, the drive, the bucket. Stanford won the game 84-83. Tara Vanderveer and the Stanford women had a handle against Arizona State last night in the Pac-12 conference tournament. Kiana Williams, 24 points, 6 of 7 on threes. Stanford won the game 58-46. They got Oregon in Sunday's championship game. James Harden and the Rockets against Boston. They didn't win because of Harden. No, they won because of this turnover. Trevor Ariza, key steal and bucket the other way. The Rockets won their 15th in a row, 123-120. And in soccer last night, the curtain raised on the Santa the Earthquake season. Fellow by the name of Danny Houston scored not 1, but 2 goals last night as the Quakes won their opener. They beat Minnesota by a final of 3-2. That is sports at this moment. Everybody have a great warm, dry Sunday. I'll see you around.
And $595,000 is a lot of money. But if you're looking for a home in the Bay Area, they're pretty slim pickings. But that is the cost of this one-bedroom cottage, currently the smallest freestanding house listed for sale in San Francisco. And again, that asking price, $595,000 for a 550-square-foot home. That's roughly $1,100 per square foot. An open house is planned for today from 2 to 4 p.m.
Might be a little crowded. Much further north, dog sleds glided through the crowd in downtown Anchorage for the ceremony kickoff of the Iditarod yesterday. 67 teams of dogs and mushers will travel about 1,000 miles over 8 days through the Alaskan wilderness. A total purse of $500,000 is on the line.